It is not about the gear. It is not about the gear. I know on this channel I make a lot of videos about like cameras and the Osmo series, and I love every single one of those devices, right? But I want to kind of tweak your perspective a little bit. I've seen people create with Action 2s. I've seen people create with their phone. I've seen people create with any device that has a camera attached to it. And, I get a lot of comments about, oh, which camera should I buy? And of course, if you have the budget, and of course, I would recommend it, but I want y'all to kind of just like, shift gears, if you will. No pun intended, actually a pun intended. Shift gears, right? Consider the creativity. You want to prioritize the creativity over the specs. Enjoy which camera, because when you first bought that camera, the one you have in your hand, we were so like excited. We were so ecstatic. We were like, oh man, this camera, this is the one. This is the camera that I'm going to use every single day. I gotta get this camera. You went on YouTube, you started searching all over, and then YouTube started recommending you all these things about this camera. And now, as the tech season start to change, you see that new shiny camera. And I did that last week. Before I went and got this Action 5, I was like, oh, I want this A6700. It has built-in IBIS. It has 6K, downscale to 4K. And I'm like, this is the one. This is my forever camera. But the problem is it really? You may keep a camera for maybe maybe a year, then you want to sell it, and you're like, oh, this is the new one. And I want to change your perspective with this. And this is the reason why I'm bringing this up. There's always the next best thing. And that's the beauty of us as a world. We always innovate. And I want you to prioritize like you talking to the camera, you getting the best settings out of your camera, you getting consistent, right? Because it's like you're gonna buy the camera and you're gonna film, you film once a month. If you're filming, if you're working professional work, that's a different story. But if you're just gonna buy this camera for it just to sit on the wall as an heirloom, which I've done this. So I'm not trying to just, prevent anybody from wanting to buy a camera. I'm gonna walk through here. We got abundance of light. That'll probably, little hill here. I'm trying to empower you guys to just kind of tweak gears, if you will, and focus on the creativity, not the tech specs, right? Start off with what you have. Because at one point you didn't have anything. September's rolling around, but we're hitting the summer. But when September and August roll around, the Android phones upgrade, the Apple phones, the iPhones, all that stuff changes, right? Why don't you prioritize that? Because if you're getting that new device, why don't you prioritize the camera, the storage, so that way you can use that device that's in your pocket, get you a nice little selfie stick or gimbal, and use that. You want to focus on those things. It's almost like if you're gonna get a new camera, right? Like I love new cameras, but sell what you got. Sell it or use it. Use it to its ability. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes we forget the reason we bought that camera in the first place, and that was to create. And if you're not being consistent in creating, what's the point? A lot of times we just, I don't know. I guess I come from a background of retail. So when I'm in retail, I'm always looking for the next best thing. I'm always like, oh, I need the pro this, the pro that. And I always talk about this, but I had to bring it back because I was thinking to myself, I'm kind of glad I bought this action camera versus an A6700, but I'm gonna get that camera. I would consider the used market as well, buying secondhand. If you really want to buy that camera, or really research the camera, is this the one for you? You know, think about how many videos have you created in the past month? Why don't you give yourself a reward at the end of a milestone that you're looking to achieve, instead of just like, and I know there's gonna be some people that are gonna be like, but I really want it. Listen, if you deserve it and you work hard for it, I'm not telling you to do that, but I'm telling you, if you really want this device and you really are gonna get in and grind and lock in on this, you know, for sure. And I'm not against hobbyists, because it's like I'm doing this as a hobby, you know, but I don't want people to get all tied into this whole thing about cameras and gear. And like I said, I may be contradicting myself, but I really love cameras and stuff like that. And this is my newfound hobby. If it's a hobby, be smart about it. Actually put it to use. Actually use the product, you know, but don't get the camera, enjoy it, use it to its fullest potential. And I mean you working to your fullest potential. Don't make this a chore. Buy a camera that gives you that liberating feeling that you can just shoot in any situation, you know? And the reason I really like these cameras, they do great video, and they're super small, even the Osmo series. And if I want to take some great photos, I have my iPhone in my pocket. And I know there's gonna be some photographers that are gonna tell me, but it works for my needs. And that's another thing. You wanna buy a camera, or if you're gonna buy gear, and you're gonna invest this money in time, because you gotta put time to earn the money to purchase these cameras. Actually do it because it fits your use case. You know, if you're doing some weddings and stuff like that, obviously you can go into pro cameras, but anyway, literally focus on the creation. If you want to be a YouTuber, buy that one camera that you'll keep and you hold on to it, you know? I don't think the specs really matter. It's not about the specs, it's about you showing up and putting that camera to work. And if you do enjoy buying cameras and trying things out, I have nothing against it, because I do it. But I backtracked more times than I can count. You know, it's to the point where Best Buys know me by first name basis. And there's nothing wrong with that, because I like to be on the side of people who are selling the products. Maybe I get a inside scoop, you know, all those things. But just think about those things for a second. Because I know some people personally who buy cameras or bought gear, myself included, that just didn't do anything with it, you know, or haven't. And I was like, oh, how's that camera? You know, focus on those skills, talking to the camera, editing, if you edit, script, if you script. I don't script, as you already can tell, but get some miles. Get some miles on that camera. Run up that odometer. You know, come outside for a walk. It doesn't have to be outside. If you want to film inside, you got a studio. Cool. You got an apartment, you got a kitchen, you got a couch, you got a car, you got a friend got a car. But get on that camera and actually use it. Enjoy that camera. And do me a favor, if you have a camera, whatever it is, I want you to just comment down your gear below. I want to start a conversation. Tell me which camera you have, what you're working with, and what camera have you been recently looking to buy. Mine is the A6700, preferably open box or used. You know, let me know if you see any links out there for a good deal, because I've been searching for one, and I think the way of the world right now, prices are crazy, and that's, I think, a 5-year-old camera. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I really want you to kind of shift your gear and your perspective when it comes to these products and these gears, these piece of gears. You hear me? I can't even talk. These piece of gears. No, seriously. I want you to shift your perspective a little bit. You know, if you have to buy the best, hold it for the longest. You know, buy the best one that works for you. Don't, you know, do your research. Don't just take someone's advice, but, you know, do your research. Make sure it works for you. I got one more thing, and then I got to run to work. Your talent matters. This screen, I need to fix that setting. Let me know what setting it is to kind of get the little square not to time out after like 5 minutes. Your talent, practice that. Over-research that, work on that. You know, I was talking to one of my friends. He was like, I went for an interview the other day, Storm, and I was like, yeah, what's up? He's like, the fact that I see you talking to the camera and you articulate, and I'm not the best. I was kind of like, wow. You know, I took that as a great compliment. I'll take them all day, send them over. But he was like, you know, you are actively working on your public speaking skills. And I'm like, I guess. He's like, that's a really good skill to have. And that's why I want to tell y'all, working on the skill of talking to the camera accidentally gives you this skill of being able to talk comfortably and not have to worry about you being like, you get those ums out the way if you do this enough times. Focus on those skills. Talk to the camera, you know, being consistent and learning the gear that you got. Always work with what you have, you know. And of course, treat yourself. You work hard. You deserve that. Anyway, I'll see y'all on the next one. I appreciate y'all time, and thank you so much for, you know, commenting and showing up for me. It really means a lot. I think y'all helped me really be consistent and kind of get out my shell. I don't know. I'll see y'all on the next one. Y'all take care of yourself. Y'all have a great weekend. Take care of each other. Peace.